Alright, I hope this sounds better than yesterday. I accidentally uploaded one without my microphone hooked in. Sorry about that. So I'm going to do a quick run through this 5-minute portrait I took yesterday. Um, so as you can see here, I have one light here. It is an AD600 by Godox. And then we have the subject here, which is me. I'm very handsome. And then I'm here, you can see my hand on the remote. That's my phone. It's controlling the Sony app via Sony app, and it's taking my picture. I also had a monitor on, so it's so I can look at myself while I'm shooting. I was taking some videos. You can see I have a microphone right here, but I ended up not bothering with it, so I just wanted to do this instead. Um, so basically, what I did here is I put the sun behind me, and I put one light on my left side, and I used that as my key light, so it lit my side here. And as you can tell by the rim light over here on the left, well, on my right, you can see the sun coming through the back. Technically, when I shoot, I always try to have the sun behind me, and then I have a light in the front to kind of balance out the ambient and with the subject. So anytime you use a strobe, you always want to balance out your ambient, and then you apply a fill as necessary. Um, Here I'm also shooting with an ND filter, as you can tell by my settings. Uh, I'm at ISO 100, f2.8, 50 millimeter. Um, Without a ND filter, you would not be able to get this. You would have very overexposed shot, pretty much washed out and everything. Basically, what the ND filter is technically just like, not technically, but kind of like sunglasses for your lens. So it adds a multiple stops. So then it allows you to be able to shoot with the strobe, and not go past 1/80th of a second. Hold on, Bubba. Go watch your cartoons, buddy. Go watch your cartoons. So this is pretty. It's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat tool to have in handy if you ever try to shoot any portraits outside. I definitely recommend you invest in one. They're not cheap. Well, they are cheap, but you don't want to invest in cheap ones because it gives you a nasty, washed up look. It'll be hazy, and your exposure will be washed out. It'll look really unnatural. This is really clean. This is unedited shot straight out of the camera. I made a virtual copy just to show you. This is what it was after I did some editing and cropping. Right there. So what I did is I ended up just kind of darkening the image, and then I used the tool here just to pump up the exposure on the subject itself. Here, I'll show you here what it did. It's not very clean, but just to give you an idea. All I did was just pump up the exposure, mess around with the highlights, and it gave me this effect. I ended up moving around with the contrast. Actually, now that I look at it, I'm going to lower the contrast a little bit. Probably lower the highlights as well here. Shadows went down, whites went up, just to kind of like enhance the highlights with the darkness here. So and I cropped it. I wanted to just clone it out, but I don't know. I figured I'd just crop it. Another thing, I recommend not doing this to your subjects, but it's me, whatever. Don't put anything across their heads or have a tree come out of their head. I still suffer through that every now and then. I completely get lost in the technical aspect of shooting the photos that I forget little things like that. So keep an eye out for that. Overall, this portrait took me 5 minutes. I started off with a simple portrait over here, right? So I corrected my ambient, and then I started applying my light. As you can tell, it's really hot. And then I slowly started correcting my temperature. I added a bit more. Stupid smile. And then I ended up just moving the light, correcting the exposure, and here you got more, a little bit better, very balanced. This is a good shot. I ended up going with this one, which is my favorite, and that's what you get. It's a really neat trick. It's a not a trick, but it's a really cool tool to have with you at all times. It's called a variable ND filter, and the reason it's variable is because it goes from ND4 to ND32. So you get different kinds of stops in that ND filter, opposed to just having one variable, I guess, or just one stop on your ND filter. They sell ones that are cheaper, and it just goes to one stop, and you just have to work with that. But I like having a variety of ND stops, and so I buy an MD. And by the way, the filter I got is called the Moment Variable ND filter. It was $150 from Moment, and I would recommend it. For more neat tips and tricks and tool suggestions, I recommend you follow my channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching.